Good morning, everybody. It is the 10th day of my journey on and off the TET, and I'm leaving my little house at the base of the Podgorica National Park, which is up there. I was staying here for the last night in Auto Camp Podgorica, and I rented this little hut, which was quite good because in the morning we had a little bit of drizzle and I didn't want to break up the tent in wet again, so that was quite a good decision. It's pretty cold up here. Gonna go to my trusted KTM. It's 16 degrees. Alright, gonna leave the keys here and say goodbye to my friends, which I made yesterday in the evening because we had a little chat about adventures in Romania and Latvia and all the stuff that happens if you're not traveling. And then I'm gonna head off. These guys are from the North German Motorrad Club, and seems like they all have one president called the Prezi, and he decides where to go and where to take a stop and where to eat. And he's the Prezi. And but every Prezi has his own staff of people, technicians and someone who makes the dishes, and it's like in a little kingdom. There he is, the Prezi, making his bike ready.
Rumkaspern kennst du wann anders? Was da denn für ein Fusel, du Gartenzwerg? Verarschen kann ich mich alleine. Du hast deinen letzten Köder geschissen. Weißt du das?
Hier, Paar und tschüss.
So the plan for today is to go back to the Podgorica National Park and head up the way which I came down yesterday, to that point where you have a junction, and on that junction I'm gonna take a left and follow the TET again, and I'm basically planning to follow the TET for the whole day until I maybe get dropped out near Podgorica, which is the capital of Montenegro. Don't know exactly how far that is, but I'm guessing it's about 300 kilometers, so it's gonna be a long day, probably. Apparently I'm today one of the first visitors at the Podgorica National Park, because I didn't see a lot of traffic as yesterday. No wonder it's short before 9 AM, so seems like not many people have gotten up that early to get here, which is quite a shame. I think it's now the best weather, or the best daytime to visit it, because maybe the further we go to lunchtime, it's not getting better, I think. I mean, you can see all the mountaintops and all the ridge lines and snowfields, and to be honest, I didn't expect that when I wake up this morning. Yeah, it's quite nice to be up here so early. That's one thing I experienced a lot of times. If you can go to iconic places in strange times, let's say really early in the morning, really late in the evening, that requires a bit of preparation. For example, take a headlight with you and obviously set up your alarm, but you will get some views that you normally wouldn't have if you were among all the other people who are getting there at the daytime and lunchtime and late afternoon. So this is one thing that always came quite handy for me as a photographer. This is actually quite nice to ride here. It's not slippery or anything. The surface is pretty packed, so you can even get up to the second gear and ride along with a very good pace. I think that's what the Belgian guy told me. that he thought that Montenegro was easier than Serbia or Romania. And so far, no troubles. It's not too steep and not too boring. It's a really good mixture. This is how I imagined the TET to be before I came up to certain areas and had to go over pretty nasty climbs. Second, am I right? Yeah. You can sit down for a while and have a look around while you're driving. Seems like it's still a long way down into this valley, but that doesn't matter because I have all day. And with this weather, I will definitely meet some other riders on the track. So there's no need to hurry. Just enjoy the view and the landscape and the track. And all will be fine. Alright, I'm back on a paved road, and I would suggest that even one on the bigger bikes, for example 1250 or 1200 GS, could make this this passage here from the junction where the TET leaves the panoramic road until here. I think for a rider with a lot of experience on a big bike, it's no problem really, because it's not steep going uphill. It's not all the time this heavy gravel stuff with rocks like this. So yeah, if you plan to do the TET with a big bike, so far come to Montenegro. I think it's the best country for riding the TET, except maybe for Slovenia, but I haven't done all the tracks in Slovenia, so I really can't tell. And there's a lot of parts which you have to skip because they're simply too muddy, too narrow, and yeah. So far Montenegro is the easier part of the TET compared to Croatia and Bosnia. So yeah, that's my conclusion. Man, this looks beautiful. It's like a huge canyon that I'm riding along it on this street here. And as you see, it goes pretty far down. Oh, look at this. You should be glad that you're on your screens and not actually here if you're afraid of heights. So yeah, wow, this is spectacular. I sometimes wonder how people get the idea that this is a good thought, building a street into this into this rock cliff here. But now the work is worth it, at least for me. That I'm using this road now. I really want to go very, very slowly here, because there could always be someone coming from ahead. Wow, this house is simply amazing. I think something like this would be my dream house. Walls built of stones, of field stones, with a wooden roof and a lot of glass to the front and to the end. Man, a lot of places here in Montenegro look very, very new, as if they have been built within the last 10 years. And even the streets are pretty good. And since we're talking about streets, I'm gonna stick to this one for the next, I think, 50 kilometers. Won't do much filming, and then short before lunchtime I'm gonna head into the next off-road section of the TET. I think I remember this hotel from one of the videos from Itchy Boots. I think she was spending a night here while she was going from India to the Netherlands, I think. Yeah, Netherlands. It's very remarkable that half of Montenegro apparently drives these Volkswagen Golfs. I think it's Golf 2 or 1, I don't know really. But they seem to love these cars, they are everywhere. I already noticed that when I was in Bosnia, that most people there drive the cars, for example German or mostly German cars, like BMW, Mercedes, a lot of Mercedeses still running there, and Volkswagen.
I remember that during that time when I studied, there was something like a scrappage bonus. So basically the German government tried to promote that the people will get new cars because of the exhaust values of the old cars. So there was like an EU regulation and EU normation where you were not allowed to have specific amount of exhaust steaming into the environment. So basically you were forced to get rid of your old car and then get a new one. I don't know if it has something to do with lobbyism of the manufacturers of cars in Germany, or something else, one could argue. Whatever the reason was, basically you got like a 2,500 bonus when you get a new car and get rid of the old one, which were basically just packed onto a container ship and then shipped off to wherever.
Now they are living their second life where there's not so much regulation like in the EU. I think so far Montenegro is not part of the EU, so there have been talks about it, but it is nothing official, nothing signed, so yeah. Now I wonder how this part of the TET is gonna be. Is it steep, is it rocky, is it slimy, which I don't guess because it didn't rain for a few days, so crossing over this river. I could have also taken the main road along the river, and I'm gonna meet the main road again on the other side when I'm coming back down. So yeah. It's always a gamble if you're going on the TET, how it will be. Difficult or just mere cruising along the shallow trails. So now it's getting harder again, steeper up the hill, and yeah, I think it's pretty much on the edge for in BMW GS, because yeah, it's quite tricky to ride actually. But I mean, if you're in a group or up for an adventure, then this certainly doesn't turn you off. Because yeah, that's what you want from the TET, an adventure, and you're gonna get one for sure. Don't know where to go actually. Alright, so it's gonna go further up, I think, for at least a little while. And I can see from the check marks there were already riders here. I cannot tell if today or any other day, but recently, so I think they're not older than 24 hours. Oh, but there are still houses up here. Wonder how they get up here. If they come this way I just came, or if they have another paved road running up here. Because this is from old lady in a Fiat Punto 4x4 hard to do. But hey man, people are strange sometimes, and you underestimate old people. They're often capable of things that a 30-year-old person can't do. So
Looking just the same as you did last time I touched you. Here I am. Inside the thought of you. Do you love him?
I'm running into a construction vehicle up here. Man, if he's in first gear, then he is pretty slow. So this is when I am in first gear. I think you have seen me. Thank you. It's incredible. I just went to this tiny village and there was a man coming out and offered me a coffee. And I said, no thanks, I have to get going again, without telling him, because neither of us speaks a language the other one can understand, unfortunately. I wish I had some Russian in school, because apparently all the people who had some Russian lessons are a bit better off than me, because a lot of people in the rural areas often don't speak English or French or something else I can understand, and so that's a bit of a pity sometimes. Now it's getting into a little bit grassier section. It was quite nice to ride because it's very soft and not too slippery, which can often be the case if you're riding on wet grass, especially in the morning. And now it seems it's climbing up here onto the top of these hills, and then we're probably gonna stay there in this height until the track is going back down to the main road. But so far this is really good to ride. The uphill sections was a bit steep and a bit rocky, but not as bad as the track, the loop around the lake in Bosnia, or what else did we have? From Mostar on, that was quite nasty. Man, there's nothing up here. This is a place I imagined for camping. Right next to the trail. Maybe I get the opportunity in Albania. Alright, let's go next, left, right. There are still living people up here. Can you believe this? It's at least 20 kilometers from the last paved road in distance, so wow. This is truly a place for someone who seeks loneliness and don't want to be surrounded by people. Like me. I mean, I like being around people, but people of a certain kind, and not too many of them. if it's getting above 10 people, then I don't know. It's never feel comfortable in big crowded masses. Sometimes I was like in a concert or so. Then you don't meet the people too personally. So, but I don't know. One example. All of us know certain times of the year when the Christmas market is opened again, and all the people standing around there and drinking some hot wine, and in these big cities there are masses of people. Cannot imagine. If you cannot imagine, just go to Heidelberg Christmas market. It's just packed. You couldn't move really. And in comparison to that, I will mention a Christmas market that was rather good, and it was in Austria during the annual skiing season. And I've been there in a small little village with a few friends of mine, and we basically spent our evening on the Christmas market, and this there were like 5 huts and 50 people, and it was really very nice because you can walk around and chat with everyone, and I think it's more the personal aspect that comes into play there. Because if you're on a big Christmas market, even if you are with your friends, you're surrounded by people you sometimes don't want to meet, and you're just forced to be together on a very small area. So, wow. Did I mention that Montenegro is one of the most beautiful countries I've ever seen? Did I? Well, if not, then certainly. If you want to see mountainsides, and if you like meadows in high altitude and all that stuff, then go to Montenegro. Really, it's awesome.
I don't know if you noticed, but so far this journey for me has been pretty stressful, because there was always some goal to reach, some destination to get to, some border to cross, some distance to make. Sometimes I just took shortcuts to save kilometers or time. But when I reached Montenegro, this suddenly all changed, and I became more peaceful and calm and settled, and could enjoy the moment much more than before. So while riding, I noticed a strange noise from the left side of the motor. And it worries me a little bit, to be honest, because it's just in certain RPM ranges. So my guess is that I just need to adjust the chain tensioner for the timing chain for the valves up here, and if it's that, then I'll be happy. If not, maybe I'll have a look in Podgorica at one of the local motorbike shops, if they have another idea what it could be. I found out because I had a look to these plates, and as you see, this is completely loose and it's rattling back and forth while accelerating, so I'm gonna screw that tight again. is this? I think there's the nut is loose. Don't know if I can actually film it. Because it shakes a little bit and it makes this shaking noise, this rattling noise. Well, yeah, I'm gonna need to fix that when I'm at home, but so far it has to work like this. I don't meet many people on the way, but the few I ran into all share the same passion. It's the adventure. They expose themselves to danger, misery, and failure, and if they stumble across the same kind of human, they share stories of how to overcome all of this and what they've learned to grow, overcome their fears, and become a better version of themselves.
I think in all of my excitement I took the wrong way. Now I have to backtrack at least 1 kilometer to follow the route of the TET again. But I wasn't aware of any ways going left. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I was just too distracted from drone flying. Don't drive and fly. Oh, it's up there somewhere. I don't know, man. Shall we take a look if there's another track? Get stuck in a swamp or something. rather swampy area. Better make my way up. This is just another field, and I'm getting slowly to the track. If there's a track up there.
Yes, there was, and what a track it was.
So I'm right now riding directly underneath these huge wind turbines, and yeah, from here I can see a lot of tracks, but I'm not sure which of them is the TET. But so far you have a spectacular view on the Dormitor National Park. This is this one over there, where I was starting from the other side today. So not much distance made in what is it? I think it's 6 hours or so. Mainly because I have to stop, get some footage, take the cameras out, take the drone out, get everything packed together, loading all the batteries, and yeah, that's quite time consuming. So that I start to think about taking a shortcut to Podgorica, whatever, the capital of Montenegro. I don't know where to go, to be honest. I came down this road and then I went up here because the map shows so, but honestly the route finding is just shit. So I'm approaching the TET again, which is somewhere up there, I think. And I'm traveling now to a small, tiny little village that's up here in the mountains. And there we'll meet the TET again, and hopefully it's running on this street further through the mountains. But I cannot tell if it's like this or if it's a gravel road again. And yeah, this there seems a bit, I don't know if there had been a forest fire or some plague that has caused these trees to die. But apparently the whole mountainside is dead, more or less. Yeah, it doesn't look so good. All right, there comes a car. It's a very beautiful valley here. Unfortunately there's no restaurant or somewhere you can just stop and get something to drink or having something to eat. Because right now I'm pretty small on supplies, and it would be nice if I can stop somewhere and get a little bit of rest, especially for my wrists, and having something to eat or to drink. this seems to be a campsite or something. Echo Camp Luke. Yeah, I don't need the camp, not yet. What I need is something to eat and to drink. Alright, I managed to make my way to the TET again, and from here to the next bigger road, it's 28.9 kilometers. Right out of Lord of the Rings or something. Just incredible. Another nice view. That's the graveyard of the little town here, of the little village. Alright. There's someone coming. Wow. Hi. Unbelievable. These guys are blasting up here. I reached the little road that will lead me back to the main road, and yeah, it was high time, really. My shoulders hurt, my back is hurting from holding on to the handlebars, because it went up pretty steep, not just down, also up again, and I had to get over another little pass And yeah, this was quite too much for me and my body. So I probably will cruise down just the street here and then see what's down there, the main street, if they have some restaurants or apartments or I don't know what. Then I will check in there. Otherwise I'm going to Podgorica in this direction, and maybe I come back for the rest of the TET to do it tomorrow. I don't know yet. I'm gonna decide when I'm down at the main road and have a look at the map. So yeah. So I had to show you this as well, because this is the main road to Podgorica. It's also part of the scenic road number 1 that runs all across Montenegro, apparently. And yeah, this is quite a long tunnel here. And then you get dropped out in one of the most beautiful canyons of Montenegro. Wonder for how long this is going on. Probably for the next 30 kilometers, because I haven't seen any villages or restaurants along the way, and now I know why. Because there's simply no space to build anything here, except for this road and a few tunnels. Seems like they are pretty proud of their bridge here, and indeed it's a huge construction. I've arrived in Podgorica. Damn, what was his name? Podgorica. No, I don't know. I've arrived officially in the capital of Montenegro. Man, this seems weird. Like the Soviet era is not yet over.
I can tell you I was ready to rest when I arrived at Podgorica, because the day was harder than expected, and I drove around in the capital of Montenegro for about an hour to find a place where I could stay the night. When I came by a 4-star hotel, I decided that it was close enough to the inner city that I can walk there for having dinner, but remote enough so that I could get a good night's sleep.